How can you be confident that the StormBlaster rotary jet cleaning system is going to work in storm tanks? Now, despite our many years of success with the StormBlaster system in the industry, we still come across some skepticism about whether this is going to work well. Now, this is unfounded, but it's entirely understandable for a number of reasons. I'll just delve into a little bit of the history of the use of this type of technology, and we can see why there's still some residual skepticism. Firstly, this is not the kind of technology that's used commonly in the water industry. Now, if you're an engineer working in the food, beverage, chemical, petrochem industry, you'd be very, very familiar with rotary jet cleaners. They've been extensively used in all of these industries for many, many years, and they're kind of like the gold standard for cleaning any large tank. But in the water industry, it's a different story. Firstly, tank cleaning is only a very, very small part of the industry, whereas in the food industry, beverage industry in particular, tank cleaning is a key application. And because it's a small application, because it's not core to the business, not as much attention is given to it, unlike, say, in food processing, where it's a very, very key application. So that lack of familiarity with this type of technology kind of breeds a certain skepticism. Secondly, in the past, there have been some poor attempts to do this. There's been poor attempts to shoehorn rotary jet cleaners that are used in, say, a factory setting, a food processing setting, and shoehorn these into the water industry, into clean storm tanks. This is sort of over a decade or so ago this was attempted, and there's been some fairly disastrous attempts to adapt that technology for use in storm tanks. These ran into problems with contaminants in the water supply gumming up the gears, and general reliability issues given the difference in environments that these tank cleaners were put into. It's one thing putting it into a nice cozy warm food factory, and quite another thing putting one of these tank cleaners into a water treatment site in a storm tank where it's exposed to the elements all year round. Just taking food processing type rotary jet cleaners and bunging them into a storm tank didn't work. Now, we've solved that with the StormBlaster system, because the StormBlaster system wasn't adapted from technology used in the food industry, it's adapted from technology used in the marine tank cleaning industry. So again, the environments were much more similar. These weren't ever used in nice cozy factories. They were used actually to clean oil tankers originally. Wash fluid used through these tank cleaners wasn't hygienic water with caustics added to it as would be in a food factory. It's actually oil muds, so high particulate content in there was recirculating through marine storm tank cleaners to clean oil tankers. That's the technology we adapted for use for storm tank cleaning, and it's worked very, very well. And finally, there's been some problems with, again, relating back to the previous attempts to use this technology sort of 10 or 15 years ago, with poorly understood cleaning protocols. Now, the protocols, the design of tank cleaning systems that you'd use in a factory are quite different to the design and layout you'd use in a storm tank. The shapes of the tanks are completely different, the scales are completely different. You need someone that really understands tank cleaning properly to design these systems properly. And in the past, what worked in a factory setting, whiskey distillery cleaning a big tank there, the same sort of protocols were kind of plonked into a storm tank cleaning system, and it was assumed it would work, and it didn't, because the layouts of the tanks were different and all the rest of it. So again, we've solved this because we've developed the correct protocols now, the correct design, where to position the storm tank cleaners properly, how many to put into a tank, how much flow rate is required to produce the cleaning jet tanks to actually reach each part of the tank. We've developed this protocol over the last 8 years, and with great success. We've got 130 or so of these StormBlasters deployed over the last 8 years or so across the UK, across Ireland, into France, happily cleaning all manner of different storm tanks very, very effectively. The long and the short of it is, yes, we understand the initial skepticism. This isn't technology that's widely used in the water industry. There have been failed attempts in the past, but we've cracked this. We know exactly how to size in StormBlaster to clean almost any conceivable storm tank, and it's been working very, very successfully for the last 8 years or so. And it is by far the most efficient, most effective way of cleaning stormwater attenuation tanks.